my daily YouTube, Instagram and TikTok lives. I discuss how to create income you own with the paid community. Instead of income you rent from social media platforms through brand deals, pay-per-views, and ad revenue. My live streams are for creators and subject matter experts 40 and over who are able to monetize their YouTube or other channels the way they want. My style is straight talk, no hype and tech simple. My live streams are for creators and subject matter experts 40 and over.
There we go. Happy Wednesday to you. So, we are talking about turning content into predictable income. Now, who is this for? This is for these folks. If this is not you, doesn't mean you can't learn, but you're not going to resonate with this probably as much as these people right here. And that is, you post consistently, but your income is still flat. Your content is solid, but the growth and reach aren't there yet. You know something, you're creating content about it, but you don't know how to get people off of YouTube or other social media and structure something that somebody actually wants. And we're going to talk about how you do that here in just a second. And then experts who haven't even really started creating content yet, but they want to. And once they do, they don't have any idea what they might want to offer. So that's who we are for here. Now, if you are new, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go ahead and ask your questions this way. If you're tuning in, Q, colon, and then your question. That way I can search for them and I can get some idea of what the question is, and I can do my best to answer it. And here's the other thing. I would prefer that you ask questions. I would prefer that rather than me yapping, because I have been doing this for 3 years. And I have been using the same platform for 3 years because I jumped on the platform before it was cool to do so. And now there are literally millions and millions of people there. There were barely 1 million people on this platform when I jumped into it. But now it is the place to be. And not only is it the place to be, it's also getting recognition by some of the biggest creators in the content business. So we're going to start by showing you, sorry about that. We're going to start by showing you how you create an offer. Now, really, you start by saying, how much do I want to make? And then you backtrack to do that. And I've got tools inside of our community that show people how to do that. But you're going to take this, and let me tell you something. The way that I got started with this well over 3 years ago is I was watching a live stream and I saw a guy with a whiteboard. And his whiteboard basically created a much simpler version of this. And that was, people are in their current state. And he just put CS on the board and he had a little frowny face. I've got this big fancy graphic thanks to ChatGPT because I suck with the graphic design. So that's what I use GPT for. But somebody is at point A their current state, they're unhappy. They want to get to point B, which is their desired state. That's where they are happy. And in order for them to do that, you have to teach them something that they can implement, and you have to save them time, money, or headaches. And it's going to revolve around three things. It's going to revolve around either health, wealth, or relationships. Because everything that we do in life, everything that we do comes down to one of those three. Okay? It comes down to one of those three. You're going to either make somebody healthier, you're going to increase their wealth by helping them make money or save money, or you are going to improve their relationship, whether it is their relationship with herself, whether it's the relationship with other people, or their relationship to happiness, because they will have solved a problem in their life that they want to solve. And that's where this comes in. You are helping somebody solve a problem and get from point A to point B. And that's the simplest way to think of business. That is the simplest way, is show somebody how to get from point A to point B. Now, this particular type of business that we're talking about, and I help mostly creators that are 40 and over and are subject matter experts. You've done one of a couple of things, really. You've honed a craft over decades, maybe through a career or a profession, or you have solved a problem for yourself and now you can solve it for other people, or you have pursued some sort of hobby and you really enjoy it and you want to share it with other people. And every hobby, every profession, every personal problem or challenge or hurdle that you've overcome in your life, that has value to other people. Let's go back to this again, right? It has value to others because, number one, you're going to help this person identify the problem. Then the second thing you're going to help them do is you're going to help them understand the root cause of why they have the problem. Third, you're going to apply what you know about the problem and they don't know about the problem. You're going to teach them how to apply it. And the only way that they apply it is by taking the knowledge that you have and then taking action on it. I always say when I go on these lives, if you don't implement any of the things that I talk about, this has been maybe a little bit of entertainment for you. But if you implement what I'm talking about, then it has tremendous upside for you. But for those of you who are 40 plus that are seeing this now or will see it later, for those of you who are in that age bracket, there was something called Schoolhouse Rock. I don't know if anybody remembers Schoolhouse Rock. If you do, drop it in the comments, put a yes or rock for Schoolhouse Rock. But the thing about Schoolhouse Rock was they lied to us. We're these moldable, impressionable kids, and we're sitting there on Saturday morning watching Schoolhouse Rock, but they lied to us. They said knowledge is power, and it's not. Knowledge implemented, knowledge upon which you take action, that is power, because knowledge is only education once you change the behavior by taking in the information. So knowledge by itself, well, actually information by itself is not knowledge. Information is only knowledge if it changes behavior. And by changing behavior, you're taking action. And by taking action, you make changes in your life. So you have to take action. Number 4 is key. Look, I have mentored probably 750 people on this, but only a small handful actually took action. But you know what? The people that actually did take action, they got great results. I was in another community, because we're talking about starting paid communities here. I was in a community almost 4 years ago now, and there were 450 people in that community. 450. Now, they offered twice weekly live calls on Zoom because we didn't have some of the tools that we have today. You know how many people out of 450 people in that community showed up every single week? Twice a week? 15. 15 people showed up. And then out of those 15, you know how many people actually took action? 7. 7 people took action. But here's the interesting thing about those 7 people. Every one of those 7 people who learned something, shared their homework in a public setting so they could get feedback on it, and then released that thing out into the world and just continued to improve it. Every single one of those people has a successful community. Now, what am I talking about with this community thing? I'm talking about a platform called Skool. And it is a place where you get to combine the best of Facebook and Kajabi and Circle and Go High Level and Coursera and Discord. But you get all of this in one place without having to stack a bunch of technology together. You don't have this huge tech learning curve, which is great for us in the 40 to 60 group, right? That's what we need. We need low tech because we don't want to spend weeks learning something. And most of these softwares, most of these platforms have really steep learning curves. But what you get inside of a Skool community is you get community, which is kind of like your message board. This kind of looks like your Facebook, right? Because all you do is you give something a title, you write some copy, you choose whether or not you're going to have an attachment to go along with it. And I got to move this out of the way so I can get rid of that. So you can attach something, you can put a link, you can put a video link for like YouTube or Loom or Wisteria. You can add polls, you can add emojis, you can add GIFs. You select a category and then you post it. And what's nice about this is you communicate in real time with real people in your community. All right, real people, real time in your community. The next thing is classroom. A classroom is where you don't overload people with stuff, but you give them the basics of how to do something. And so the thing that you're helping them do, and it works the most effectively, right? The thing that helps them the most effectively is to show them how to do it themselves for either free or a very low amount of money. Now, I show people how to do this for free on my YouTube. That's the whole purpose of this YouTube, is to show you. I don't gatekeep, right? And I don't really like that term, but I don't gatekeep. If you have a question and I can answer it, I'm going to answer it for you, right? So you have a community, you have a classroom, and then you have a calendar of live events. Now, you can either schedule these live events or you can just randomly decide to go live. Watch this. See? Here I am. I've joined the call. And there I am. But I'm not using the right tools, so bam, now I'm using the right tools, right? So you can kind of see this now. But that is all we do. And then I can just end this and I can go back. But see, what this is this is live streaming. So in other words, you can go live within your community. You don't need Zoom. You don't need Google Meet. You don't need any of those. You just need Skool. So Skool has community. It has classroom. It has a calendar of events, and it has cash, and it has cash collection. You don't need a Stripe account. You don't need a payment processor. All you need is to set up a bank account where they can distribute money to you through the school platform. That's all you need. And then here's how simple it is. I'm not going to go through the whole process, but here's how simple it is to start a school community. So you're in my community. You want to start your own school. You come over here. If you use my link, I'll get on a free call with you, whether you are in my community or not. Well, actually, you wouldn't be able to get into my link without it, but I will help you start your community. So you will click on this and it says, I invited you, which means it's an affiliate link. Then you try it for free for 14 days. You put in a group name and you start a free trial. After 14 days, if you use the hobby setting, you will be charged a whopping $9. And every month you keep your community open, you'll be charged $9 plus any plus 10% of transaction fees. But in the beginning, you don't need anything more than that. Now, later on, as your community grows, then you might need what we call the Pro plan. And the Pro plan is where you get some customization options, right? You can customize your URL. You can do internal affiliates with one click of a button. So you have all these options inside of here. But then inside of your community, you build it how you want to, right? You get to build categories for your posts. You get to build your own classroom. And you don't need any sort of technical knowledge. You don't need programming or coding. You literally just come in here, you name the thing, you give it a course description, you decide how the learning will be set up, you upload an image, and then you publish it. That's it. And the way that you do that is you either do text posts or you do video posts where you include a video along with some of this. But see, these are links. And all you have to do is go in there and create modules. Nice short modules, because in the 40 to 60 group, we like short. We don't want to be bombarded. One of the things that I didn't like about the group that I was in when I first got started with this business model, one of the things that I did not like was the fact that he had massively long training videos. Massively. I'm talking like 45 minutes. And look, I was unemployed at the time, so I had time to go through this stuff. But I know the average person doesn't. So they don't get the value out of it because they don't actually go through the content. But I like to make my videos like 5 minutes tops, because I want people to get in there and get the information they need. And then more importantly, I want them to act on the information that they get. I don't want them to spend 45 minutes consuming information. I want them to spend 5 minutes consuming information. And then I want them to spend the majority of their time activating, implementing what they learn. Because there's a very simple way that you can go about this when you are teaching other people. You can invest the time to learn something, and then you can teach that thing to other people. So you invest, you teach it, you learn it by investing the time, and then you teach it. ILT, invest, learn, teach. It's a fantastic way to do content. It is a fantastic way to create learning modules. And then you can have, like I said, those live events right in there. Wow, we got a bump up in folks here. That's great. So if this is the first time you are seeing me, put a 1 in the comments. And I've got tons of videos, right? I got tons of videos on my channel that show you all about how to do this. You know, how to figure out what it is that you're going to help people with. Like, for example, one of the tools that we have inside of my community that I'm very proud of is this right here. Because here's the problem with relying on a social media platform or YouTube. I don't consider YouTube to be social media. YouTube is interest media. So here's one of the problems people have. They never get concrete about what they're trying to accomplish, the gap between where they are and where they want to be, and what it's going to take to get there. That's why I said in the beginning, here's how you set goals. What is it you want to do? And then, where are you now? And so this becomes the gap between where you are and where you want to go. And then in the case of a community, you figure out how many people at whatever price you decide to charge, how many people do you need to reach your goals? And that is the simplest way to set goals and reach goals. You have to be real with yourself. You can't just say, I want to do, I want to make more, or I want to lose more, or I want to lose weight. You got to get specific, man. And then you work backwards. Like one of the ways that my community gets traction is because I do this every single day, Monday through Sunday. I am live, right? I am live every single day. I started at day 183 of the year, which is halfway through the year. And you will now see I am on day 32 because I made a commitment to myself. I said, I'm going to go live and I'm going to create a video every flipping day for the rest of the year. And if you go back on my YouTube channel, you will see that today will be the 32nd day in a row that I have gone live. It will be the 32nd day in a row that I have created a piece of content. But I also complete pieces of content inside of my community as well. So I'm going to wrap things up here because I don't see any questions and I don't want to just sit here and, and blather on. So if you have questions before we go, put them in the comments. Or if you got something out of this, say thanks. That's all I ask. Just say thanks. But if you want to learn how to do this, what I'm going to strongly urge that you do is you check out our community. Now, here's the thing about Skool that I love. Skool allows you to set up free trials. And the thing about a free trial is that for you to make an informed decision, you have to be on the inside of something, right? You don't know whether or not this is, if you're 40 and over and you are sick of trying to monetize what's up, my friend? How are you? So if you're 40 and over and you're trying to monetize your content, the quickest way to do it is to come up with an offer that gets them off of YouTube or TikTok or wherever and gets them into a place that you actually own. So you don't get stuck in the situation that I did and my friend Lion, who just tuned in, also did, which was we were beholden to a platform that was paying us or that actually held our audience hostage. And so what happened to me was one day I logged on or tried to log on and found out that somebody had hacked and stolen my TikTok account with 44,000 followers. Lion logged on one day and found out that his Facebook group that was making him $6,000 to $10,000 a month was completely shut down, and they completely put the kibosh on his income. But when you own a place that you pay for, nobody takes it away from you. This was funny. I saw this comment in Skool yesterday, and I'm probably going to make part of my video about this tonight. But I found this to be really interesting because this is how people or what they're used to, right? Where is it? Gosh, I hope I can find it. Oh, I was trying to find this. So anyway, there was this woman, and I probably should have just screenshotted this thing. There was this woman who said, "Is it okay if I do such and such? Is it okay if I write this?" And I was the first person to respond to her. And by the way, this is the group for everybody that owns a group. All right. This is the group for everybody that has their own group. And actually, I know what my video is going to be about tonight because there are tons of questions in here that I can answer. Doggone it, I can't find it. But anyway, so this woman said, "Is it okay if I do such and such? Is it okay if I write this?" And so what I said to her is I said, "Here's the beauty of school. You own it because you pay for it, and nobody's going to take it away from you, and nobody can tell you how to run it. It's your business. You do what you want. You post what you want, you name it what you want, you invite who you want, you charge what you want, and you control who stays. It's all within your control." That's what people aren't used to with Facebook. They're not used to that with YouTube. They're not used to that with TikTok because they largely restrict your control. You don't have any control. Like a couple of days ago, I made this revelatory discovery where I was like, you know what? F TikTok. I'm not posting there anymore. I'm not going live there anymore. I'm done with it. Why? Because they restrict things. They don't want you to show screens. They don't want you to leave the platform. They don't want you to say things like link in bio. They don't want you to do any of that stuff because they treat that platform like children. They're trying to retain you so they don't want you to talk about anything that would make you leave the platform. YouTube, run by and for adults, because TikTok is entertainment and distraction. YouTube is interest-based information. And then school is interest-based community. So those are the three. Damn, now I got another idea for a video. I could slam TikTok. But anyway, so that's the whole thing, right? And the way that you do this is you take what you know, you put it into a school community, you make free content on YouTube, and then you tell people about your school community in the process. That's it. Some of the most successful people making the most money on the school platform, that's all they do. They either go to Instagram to school or they go to YouTube to school. Some go to TikTok. But the most successful ones are YouTube to school or Instagram to school. And it's very simple. It's not a link tree with 75 links. Right? Man, I'm sorry. The other day, Lion, here's the deal. I'm sitting there going live on Ecamm, and I haven't checked in with TikTok in a while. All of a sudden I go to share my screen and I see this little pop-up as I go back to TikTok. We're restricting your lives for unoriginal content. So I was like, screw them, I'm done. And then I talked to another friend of mine and he was like, just go all in on YouTube. To hell with TikTok. I said, you're right. Because it'll take, and so not only did I basically say I'm not posting on TikTok anymore, and I'm not going live on TikTok anymore, I even deleted the damn app from my phone. I don't need it. I don't need that headache because Alex Hormozi, the co-owner of the school platform, has said many times, and if you don't know who Alex is, let's show you. I call him the bearded one because he's kind of like a wizard, right? Dude's kind of like a wizard. He looks like a wizard. He's got long hair and he's got a big beard, and he's jacked because he's a gym dude. But he's 36 or 37 years old, and he's running a portfolio of companies worth $250 million in revenue every year. Think about that. So the guy knows what he's talking about. He's also written 3 Amazon best-selling books. And he wrote them from the perspective of somebody of, I've done business for 15 years. This is how I succeeded. And then he's gone on to help hundreds of thousands of business owners by giving practical business advice. And here's the thing, he doesn't sell courses. He doesn't sell courses. He doesn't sell shovels. The dude actually dug for gold. And that's the difference between him and 99% of these business gurus. Most of those people only sold courses to make their money. Alex made money the old-fashioned way by solving people's problems. All right? Okay, guys. Well, that's going to wrap it up for me. I'm going to get out of here. I still need to grab some lunch because I am hungry. So if you have any questions, check out the Skool group. Because here's the thing. Like I said about Skool and free trials, is you will not know whether what I'm talking about is for you until you're on the inside. You would not buy a house by just looking in the windows, and you would not buy a car without test driving it these days. You know, I know people are buying cars online, but at some point they probably went to a dealership and they test drove that car, and then maybe they bought it online to save money. But you would not buy a car without test driving it, and you would not buy a house by just looking in the windows. So you don't know whether or not this is your answer to low views and low payouts on YouTube or Creator Fund or TikTok Shop. You don't know until you get inside here. And look, if you get inside there and you decide, this isn't for me, great. You got 7 days of free knowledge, and then you decide it's not for you. No big deal, right? No big deal at all. But I'm going to go ahead and go. Check out the community. Check out some of my other content. And we'll see you on the inside at the cash flow path. Take care, guys.
Theme song for my daily YouTube. Instagram and TikTok lives.
It's over. Go home. Go.
That's what happens on live sometimes. But anyway, guys, take care, and we will see you tomorrow.